fans are making a big connection between two ongoing storylines right now. We'll also check out how this could affect Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and more. Starting things off with this connection that fans have spotted specifically with Solo Sikoa and Jey's story. They're on completely separate brands right now. Solo Sikoa is on Smackdown and Jey is on Raw. They haven't interacted on screen with each other as of late. But strangely enough, their stories are becoming very similar. With Solo Sikoa on Smackdown, we see someone who learned from being under Roman Reigns for several years. Solo runs his family with an iron fist, and he runs it based off a lot of the ideologies from Roman Reigns. So you see a lot of that with Solo. He's putting himself and his family first before anyone else, and doesn't care what he has to do in order for that to be the case. But similar to what we saw with Roman Reigns several years ago, ruling like that can only work for so long until everything crumbles around you. It happened to Roman, and it's bound to happen to Solo as well if he doesn't adjust his way of thinking. And there's even one situation happening right now that's causing MFT to lose some faith in Solo, and that's everything related to the Wyatt 6 lantern. Solo stole the lantern from the Wyatts back on January 9th, and the lantern has been in Solo's possession ever since. We've seen many close calls of Uncle Howdy getting the lantern back, but as we've seen, Solo and MFT are always getting the lantern right back from them. We spoke a few weeks ago about how this story has definitely been jumping the shark, and how fans are so fed up with the longevity of this story that's not going anywhere. And now it's not only the fans that are getting sick of it, but even Solo's own family members are getting sick of the lantern situation as well. On a recent edition of SmackDown, Tama Tonga questioned Solo on why they can't just hand the lantern back over to the Wyatts and put this whole mess to bed, especially since the whole matter with the lantern did end up costing MFT the tag team championships after all. But Solo Sikoa was extremely against the idea of giving the lantern back to the Wyatts, and scolded his family for even suggesting that idea. And that backstage segment ended with MFT telling Solo that he was starting to sound a lot like Roman. It's still very early on, and we all know this regime loves stretching things out, so maybe we still have another 7 months to go before MFT fully falls out with each other. But the fact that they lost the tag team titles, the fact that they're telling Solo they're sick of everything involving the lantern, and the fact that they're calling him out for sounding like Roman, it's all clear signs that Solo Sikoa is losing his family and becoming disconnected with them. Everyone remembers what Roman put the original bloodline through all those years ago, and no one wants to be around anyone that even sounds like him. So between the disconnection being there and MFT saying that Solo is sounding a lot like Roman, the future of Solo and MFT doesn't look that bright at all. And all of that is significant because over on Raw, we're seeing a similar situation with Jey and the original Bloodline members. Jey is back to being overly aggressive with questionable actions that has Jey even receiving Roman Reigns comparisons. Like that recent backstage segment where Jey is telling Jimmy and LA Knight about how he has to come for everyone who disrespects the family. And LA Knight stops Jey and tells him how much he's starting to sound like Roman. And that's the big connection between Solo and Jey's stories right now. They're both acting a bit reckless, and everyone around them is constantly telling them how much they sound like Roman Reigns. So considering that Jey and Solo are both receiving the same remark from others around them, it really has fans wondering if there's some type of correlation here with Solo and Jey. Is it a coincidence that they're both getting Roman comparisons at the same time? Is there a bigger purpose and hidden story that's building up there? Or are they just simply running the same story simultaneously on Raw and SmackDown? That's what fans are truly wondering about, because here you have two brothers, Jey and Solo, that are crashing out and acting like Roman, and they both want to lead the family. Is this leading towards a big battle between Solo and Jey to determine the next tribal chief? Remember that we technically have no idea who's next in line for the position of tribal chief anymore. Roman Reigns had crowned Solo as the tribal heir, but Solo went off the rails and took the position before it was the right time. So he really lost Roman's blessing, and Roman took the position right back. So now we're back into a spot where there is no tribal heir. Is Jey next in line, or is it still Solo? Maybe that is the long-term endgame of what's being built here. Like we touched on earlier in the week, that closing moment from the March 23rd edition of Raw between Jey and Roman really was massive. Jey was there calling Roman Reigns by his real name, Joe, and telling him to get back in there and get CM Punk. And surprisingly enough, Roman listened to Jey's demand and followed through with a brutal attack on Punk. So that was a huge moment right there that progresses the bloodline story that we've been seeing for 6 years now, and it even potentially hints at the future of the story as well. There was once a time where Jey was the one that was being a bit soft and didn't take things that seriously, and it was Roman who had to bark out orders and get Jey to wake up and get more strict about his business. And now here we are all these years later, full circle moment. It's now Jey that's barking out the orders and making Roman get more serious. So the fact that Jey is crashing out, he's slowly losing his ways, and how he even has Roman listening to his orders now, that has fans wondering if they're going to revive the entire tribal heir narrative and give that position to Jey, or Jey to fully be the next tribal chief. And considering the way Jey has been acting lately, he would no doubt be a tribal chief that's completely unhinged. Roman was evil and crazy himself back in the peak of his time as the tribal chief, but Roman had that chill factor to him. He was mostly calm, cool, and collective when handling his business. And Jey is absolutely none of those things. Jey does not handle things in a calm, cool, and collective manner. Jey handles things pretty much like a hothead. So combine being a hothead with all the power that comes with being the tribal chief, and it sounds like Jey could really put a hurting on the entire division. And it surely seems like a strong possibility that a fully unhinged Jey as the tribal chief could even be more scary than Roman's time as the tribal chief. So just how far are they willing to go with this direction for Jey is the real question here. We saw them pump fake us with this story and direction in late 2025 before doing ultimately nothing with it. So is this just another temporary revival to the storyline that will go nowhere again? Or will we actually see some payoff take place this time around? The story appears to be picking back up from where it last left off at. Roman and Jey both understand each other. They are both former world champions. They know that sometimes you got to step over that line, but Jimmy, on the other hand, doesn't agree with how Jey and Roman handle their business. So that uneasy tension amongst the three of them will really come into play here in the near future, and that will certainly cause more disconnection and fallouts to happen, with Jey acting crazy and being so caught up in Roman's business with CM Punk. It seems like they're setting up the narrative that Jey doesn't have his mind on the tag team titles anymore and has lost focus on them. And if that's the case and that's the narrative they're setting up there, that most likely means that Jimmy and Jey could drop the tag team titles at any week here coming up. No better way to show Jimmy and Jey being on completely different pages than by having them drop their tag team titles, especially to the vision of all teams. But once that happens, then maybe we'll really see some strong progression to Jey's crash out storyline. Will Jey be able to keep it cool with Jimmy after they lose the titles? Or will that big event cause another fallout between Jimmy and Jey? But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.